The original Zadig Voltaire This Is Him is a hidden gem and a compliment getter that I like a lot. So when I saw that they released This Is Really Him, I bought it straight away. So I have a few Zadig Voltaire fragrances, but I don't have all of them. Out of the ones I have, the original This Is Him definitely stands out the most with its quite unique combo of spiciness, vanilla, smokiness and woodiness. This Is Really Him is the latest in the line. It's an EDT and I believe it was the same perfumer that created This Is Him. Let's check it out. Before I begin, if you love fragrances and if you love smelling good, then you gotta make sure to hit that subscribe and please do drop a like on this video. Some of the notes in Zadig Voltaire's This Is Really Him are grapefruit, lemon, metallic notes, orange blossom, palo santo and amberwood. So what does This Is Really Him smell like? Straight away a big dose of that citrus blend. It's intense citrus with a bit of sweetness to it. It's definitely a likable opening if you enjoy citrus, but that initial blast is not something I think is insanely unique or crazy good. It smells good, but it doesn't blow me away. Just a minute or two after that initial dose of citrus, in comes something that almost adds this sort of a bitter and sharp kind of freshness over it all. I guess it's the metallic notes doing its thing, and I think it's interesting, but much like the initial opening, it's not something that makes me go wow. And I actually think the opening would have been a bit better without it. As This Is Really Him heads into the mid, it reminds me of something more of the original. It starts to get a bit woody and spicy with this soft kind of smoky incense to it. It's really that woodiness that makes me think of the original. But that part is heavier and way more intense in the original This Is Him and a lot lighter in This Is Really Him with a focus on smooth woodiness with just a bit of smokiness to it. The dry down to me is basically all about soft palo santo-ish woodiness with a soft spiciness to it. Something that almost smells a bit aromatic and just a hint of smokiness. It's also lightly amber in the dry down. Now everything from the opening through to the mids smells good, but nothing really special. The dry down, however, even though it's nothing revolutionary, has something slightly unique about it, just a hint of uniqueness. My very first impression of it was that it was a nice scent, but nothing special. But after wearing it a lot more, I do enjoy it more, and I also find it to be a slightly unique wearing experience. If I compare the dry down to other fragrances in my collection, I do think there's a bit of uniqueness to it while still being a bit familiar. Comparing the new This Is Really Him with the original This Is Him, I do think they are quite different. This is lighter, less smoky, incense heavy without the vanilla and with a different kind of woodiness. So how do I feel when I wear This Is Really Him? Part of the charm of wearing This Is Really Him is that slight uniqueness of it. This, right now at least, gives off this classy vibe, but classy in a casual way, if that makes sense. If This Is Him is something bolder, more playful and intense, this feels more subtle with a classy touch, but done in a modern way. So what about compliments and reactions from others? This Is Really Him has so far landed me 2 compliments in about 2 weeks, and in a way I'm not surprised. The original is a great compliment getter, and this might end up being even more of a compliment getter with this sort of a lighter and more fresh approach to its woodiness and smokiness. I believe people in general will enjoy getting whiff of the dry down, as it's quite a likable masculine woody scent. So what about performance? Performance is definitely above average, and this has surprised me a few times when I thought it was long gone and then someone says something about it. It's definitely not beast mode though, but longevity seems very good, and the projection, at least for like the first hour or so, is kind of strong. I need to do more performance tests, but at least right now it's definitely above average, but not beast mode when it comes to projection. When it comes to longevity, it stays on my skin for a long time. So when should you use This Is Really Him? This Is Really Him is primarily a woody scent with a fresh opening, and I think you can use it to pretty much any occasion throughout the year. It's a soft kind of woodiness and not an intense in your face kind of scent, so use it both sort of a casually and formally when you want that kind of scent on you. So who is this fragrance for? Avoid blind buying and try first if you can. Not because I think this is a bad, challenging fragrance or anything like that. More because I think this to some might be a bit underwhelming. Don't get This Is Really Him just because you enjoyed the original This Is Him, because they are different. And it goes the other way as well. If you did not enjoy the OG, then you might actually enjoy this. I also feel you should probably enjoy a bit of sort of a smokiness incense, because this has a bit of that. If you usually enjoy woody scents and fragrances with this kind of scent profile and fresh opening, then you might enjoy this. Don't buy This Is Really Him if you only buy beast mode fragrances, because this, at least to me, is not that. What are some of the alternatives to This Is Really Him? An obvious alternative is, of course, the original This Is Him. It does have a much more intense dose of smoky incense though, and it's a mix of spiciness, smokiness and vanilla with sandalwood. For a fantastic cheapie that also has a bit of amberwood and palo santo, that's woody and ambery with a bit of powderiness, there's Café Cedre from Zara. They are not the same, but Café Cedre is one of the best from Zara, and it's a great affordable fragrance. Santal d'Anchat from Armani Privé is not the same as This Is Really Him, but it's an extremely well blended woody and musky scent that's spicy and soft powdery. Those three are not the same as This Is Really Him, but they are great alternative woody scents. Let's talk about price. I paid about 50 or 60 bucks for 50 ml. And I believe 100 ml sits at around 80 or 90 bucks, which, if you compare it to most other recent designer releases, is kind of okay. It sort of sits on the same level as the OG This Is Him, which on discounters often can be found for about 70 for 100 ml. So how am I going to rate Zadig Voltaire This Is Really Him? This is a masculine woody scent with a bit of uniqueness, and it gives me a bit of that This Is Him vibe, but in a much lighter and fresher way. The performance is solid, it seems to be a compliment getter, and I enjoy wearing it. Its uniqueness is definitely something that enhances my wearing experience, and I don't have anything exactly like it. With that said, this, at least right now, is nice scent for me. And it's not a love. I do enjoy it though, and I do recommend you to at least try a sample of it if you absolutely love woody scents and want something that I feel has a bit of uniqueness to it. But This Is Really Him, at least right now, does not drive me crazy when I wear it. I'm going to give Zadig Voltaire This Is Really Him a 7, something around 7. It's a solid release, and if you can find it at discounters at a good price, and if you absolutely love woody scents, then why not try it out? So what would have made me rate it higher? When I thought about what would have made me rate This Is Really Him higher, my very first thought was, why not a big dose of vanilla? But I instantly went back on that one, because that would have pushed this a lot closer to the original. However, perhaps a dose of something aromatic. So keeping its woodiness and that soft smokiness, and maybe add a touch of lavender or sage just to add a bit of aromatic pop and brightness to it. I think I would have enjoyed it a bit more if there would have been more sort of a top and brightness to it. A completely different and absolutely wicked twist to this would have been for a dose of fruitiness to it. Like a slightly sweet dose of cherry would probably have made this absolutely wicked. So Zadig, if you're watching this, you're probably not watching this, but if you're watching this, how about a dose of cherry in the next one? I know it would be very different compared to what you've done so far, but oh my, it would be an absolute banger if it's well made. So I would love to know how you feel about Zadig Voltaire This Is Really Him, and how you would rate it from 1 to 10, so make sure you comment. Like this video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.